Shakur Stevenson schools and embarrasses Teofimo Lopez in 12 rounds. That was an emphatic performance. That was a dominant performance. That was a performance without questioning who was the best fighter in that ring tonight. That was crazy. Look, in my prediction, I said that Teofimo Lopez was going to win this fight on points. I was wrong, and I hold my hands up. But Shakur Stevenson showed tonight why he is one of the best fighters currently in boxing. Absolutely dominant performance. He classed and outclassed, Teofimo Lopez in every single department, right? Maybe the only time that Teofimo Lopez had any success in the fight was when he was landing his body shots. But everything else that Stevenson did was 100% the right thing to do. And guess what? Teofimo Lopez had no idea, had no answer to the things that Shakur Stevenson did in this fight. Now, as you can see, my scorecard is down below, and just straight in the first round, I thought Teofimo Lopez did some really good things. So I gave him the first round because I thought he was aggressive. I thought he landed some really good jabs, some body shots. But come to think of it, I think in the first round, Stevenson was downloading data. Stevenson was downloading information. He was seeing what Teofimo is trying to do. And then from the second round onwards, as you can see on my scorecard, Stevenson took over and he made this fight his fight. Stevenson made Teofimo fight his fight. Teofimo was out of ideas. He was outboxed. He was outclassed. He was outpunched. He was outthought in there. It felt like he didn't know what he was doing. I was screaming at the screen, use your jab. And it's like Teofimo has never thrown a jab in his life before. But that is because Shakur Stevenson is making Teofimo not throw his jab. So what Stevenson was doing was using his lead, hand as a southpaw to occupy the right jab, the left jab of Teofimo Lopez. So Teofimo Lopez was not able to throw that jab. And once he took away his jab, he started, peppering him with his own jab and then taking over the fight. Teofimo Lopez was nowhere to be found. Like, it felt like it was a novice versus a professional. That's how it felt in there. And Teofimo Lopez had no answer, had no idea how to overcome the skill set, the matrix of what Stevenson was. That was a great performance. That was an unbelievable performance. If you think about the events leading up to the fight, the way, Stevenson was very calm, the way Teofimo was very hyped up and very energetic, you can't say that Teofimo was not hyped about this fight. He was hyped. Did he, use a lot of energy in the build-up of the fight? Maybe, but I don't think so, because if I go, he used a lot of energy during build-up, I'll be making excuses for him. I don't think it was about energy there. I think one fighter was very calm, cool, and collected, and was, of course, the better boxer. And then the other fighter was very hasty, was very unprepared as to what he was going to face in the ring. And, he only had one plan, and that is to lunge in, try and throw big shots. And once those shots did not land, Teofimo Lopez had no idea, or he had no game plan to fall back on. He had no plan B. And that's how it looked like in that ring tonight. And everything that Shakur Stevenson did was just perfect, was just incredible, was just the right thing to do to, fight someone as a pressure fighter, but someone that makes a lot of mistakes because they lunge in so much, because they throw shots from different angles, right? Stevenson knew how to counteract that. He knew how to take away the jab. He knew how to take away his footwork. He knew how to make it awkward for him. And actually, Teofimo Lopez was scared to get on the inside, because for me, if Lopez was going to win this fight, he had to come on the inside. He had to make it a dog fight. I said he wasn't going to win this fight if he just wanted to fight in range, because Stevenson controls range the best way I have seen in a long time, right? Something compared to Floyd Mayweather or even, his mentor, Terence Crawford. Like, he controls range so well that for Teo to get any success at range is going to be impossible. Teo had to get on the inside. He had to get on his chest. He had to make it into a dog fight to get any success from this fight. And he couldn't do it because every time that he wanted to step inside, he got hit with his jab. Every time that he came inside, he got out-punched, right? He got out-thought and therefore didn't know what he was doing. That was a beautiful performance. That was an emphatic performance. But as you can see my my scorecard there right now. You can see from round 2, I gave it to Shakur. Up until round 8 is when I gave round 8 to Teofimo Lopez, and that was because Teofimo Lopez was doing some really good work to the to the body. Sorry, he was going to the body. He was very smart. His father was talking to him in the corner saying, you have to do something. Where is the power? Where is your energy? You have to go there. You have to show this guy that you're the bigger guy. But he couldn't. He went to the body very well in round 8. He was successful. I gave him the round 8. And then, of course, as all great fighters do, when they feel like, they've taken a round off, or when they feel like the other fighter has gotten the upper hand, they wrestle control back. And that's exactly what Stevenson did in round 9. He took control again. He used his jab. He used his footwork. He used his counter-punching ability. He was aggressive, but it was educated pressure on the front foot. That was what Stevenson was doing. It was educated pressure on the front foot. And once again, Teofimo Lopez had no idea how to deal with that sort of pressure. That it wasn't reckless pressure. It was thought about. It was calculated. It was educated. It was precise. And he just didn't know what to do with it. And then, of course, from round 9 onwards, up until round 12, Stevenson took over. And he just boxed beautifully. He controlled everything about this fight. Now, Teofimo Lopez did his best. He got cut. He was bleeding all over the place. He looked dejected. He looked like he's lost confidence. He looked like he didn't know what he was doing. He looked like he was well and deservedly outboxed and schooled and embarrassed and basically didn't know what he was doing there. But that was an emphatic win, emphatic performance from Shakur Stevenson. And a performance that I think, you have to look at and go, that was unequivocally one of the best performances in a ring that you will see. Because Teofimo Lopez is not a bad fighter. He's a good fighter in his own right. But Stevenson showed that he's an elite fighter. And although I think Teofimo Lopez is also an elite fighter, but sometimes there's someone that's just better. That's just better in every single department. And although, Lopez had the power, he just couldn't detonate that, that bomb, because Stevenson knew how to take away, the minerals, take away the skills that Teofimo was going to use to land that big right hand. He took away everything because Teo had to land, had to put his foot on the canvas to dig out that right hand. And what Stevenson did was he kept moving and he kept controlling the distance, and it was hard for Teo to, stand his ground and throw that big right hand. And he took everything away from him. That was a great performance. Congratulations to Shakur Stevenson. He did a great job. He surpassed my expectation. He was excellent on the night. And, he is now a world champion at 140. Incredible performance. Guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you thought about this fight. What was your prediction before the fight? And what is your thoughts about the performance of Shakur Stevenson? And what do you think about the performance of Teofimo Lopez? What does Teofimo Lopez do next? What does Shakur Stevenson do next? Where do both fighters go? What is next for them? Get in the comment section and let me know what you think about it.